It's basically a brand within your brand. It's a sub-brand of your brand, and that's what's fun about it. It's kind of like this little baby within your business, and it has its own little spotlight.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge.
And settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips. Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 181, and if you're on our email list, you know that every week we send out 2 emails. Tuesday Tips and Sips and Sundays SEO Squeeze.
Or Wednesdays Whips and Sips.
And
or Thursday. We can't even talk.
We don't even know. Some days, if we happen to, have a very busy Tuesday, we just make it Whips and Sips. I don't know that we've ever formally spoken that out into the world, but Whips and Sips is what it is.
You know what I should do in our header with the cute little graphic we have? If it doesn't go out on Tuesday, I should have one meant for Wednesdays, and it crosses out Tuesday or something.
No, it's just a person falling flat on their face.
Yeah, there you go.
Whips and Sips.
Yeah, Whips and Sips.
Something like that. Back on task. So after we send out these emails, we oftentimes get emails back, and this was one of this topic today that we're about to talk about was actually an email we got from our audience. And so we love it when you do that and you send us ideas of I'd love to hear about X, Y, and Z. And so one of the things that they wanted to know about was about our email, how we have designed it, which we've never actually talked about before, kind of how we structured it. And so we kind of figured it'd be fun to talk about an email glow up little episode here.
Kind of like the anatomy of our personal email that we send out every week.
Technical.
So, yeah.
So we're going to kind of walk through some tips on how to take a boring old email newsletter, or maybe you haven't even started your email newsletter yet and you want to be inspired and get excited. And let me tell you, a really cute name an email template and design and all of the things is really going to get you jazzed to start sending emails.
Yeah, it's so fun building out the bi-weekly, weekly, whatever that looks like, that template for your emails. I've always had a blast doing it. And we're not going to sit here and say we're queens of email marketing, because we're not, but we have poured a lot into our weekly emails, and we get so much positive feedback on our emails. People love our emails. They look for them every week. We're just very real and raw, but also kind of quirky and funny. And I think everybody just appreciates our emails. So
this is the first year I think our email subscribers exceeded Instagram followers, which was also really exciting because email subscribers, the open rates, the amount that people engage, the amount of people that see your content, you own that. That's so exciting, thinking that then Instagram, 10%, whatever that metric is, 10% of your Instagram followers actually see your content. So
yeah, it's wild.
It is cool. So we have been very passionate about email marketing and just growing it for our own business. And we'll just walk you through some of the things that we've done over the past couple years to kind of give our email a little makeover, get us excited to actually send emails, because I think that's the hack. The hack is for you to trick your brain into thinking that writing emails every single week is fun.
And I don't think we've even had to trick ourselves anymore. I think
we've tricked ourselves so well. We don't even think it's a trick.
No, our brain is so confused. It's so trained. No, I think so. Back in the day, actually, Abby used to write all the newsletters, and I used to do basically all of social. And now we have shifted that within our business. I still do some of the social, but we also have some help for that. And now Abby and I really co-tackle the newsletter. And I'm gonna back in the day, I would have been absolutely not. I don't want to touch newsletters. That is not my thing. And now I look forward to the week where I get to write the newsletter. It's just really fun to educate, to storytell, to relate it back to our life, back to our business, whatever it might be. So it's really fun.
Yeah, it's like a diary. like your business diary.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so the number one tip that we have to kind of start with your email glow up is to name your newsletter. So if you haven't done this yet, big hack to stay consistent with sending out your email every week is to add the day to the name for that accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So Tuesday Tips and Sips, Sunday's SEO Squeeze. We say that out loud when people subscribe and whenever we talk about those series.
Yep.
So it holds us accountable, and it's also just a way to stay consistent.
And it's actually really helped us to stay consistent, but also if that makes you a little nauseous because you're like, oh, like that seems like a really big thing to do. Clearly, we said at the beginning of this podcast episode that we miss an occasional Tuesday, and I think our audience probably very well knows now that sometimes they might get a Wednesday one or even a Thursday one, and usually the first thing we do is call ourselves out like, well, this happened, so it's coming to you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And nobody has ever been like, I was sitting there on Tuesday waiting for your newsletter. So it's a good accountability thing, but it's also like life happens and your audience is most likely going to give you some grace if like it goes out the next day or 2 days later.
Yeah. So go ahead, start by naming your newsletter. Maybe reach out to your favorite AI tool, ask it to help you come up with some ideas based on your brand, your business, what you do, what you offer, what types of content you want to share. We'll share a few other examples too. We helped revamp one of our clients who's a destination wedding planner. Hers is Destination Unknown, which is very fun.
So fun.
And two gals that we are friends with in the industry, Sarah from BTL, hers is Table of Contents. Act Break is Sarah Kleist, which if you know who Sarah Kleist is, she is a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So she's an actor and a web designer, among many other things. So Act Break is like perfect for her. Madison, who's our bookkeeper, her newsletter is called Margin Notes because everything good is written in the margins or something cute like that. So we just love seeing cute newsletters and what else is out there, and also names that you resonate because that's something that people can search for. Hey, do you get Tips and Sips? Do you get Sunday Squeeze? Like there's different things that people can easily remember and call out, and it can be a great way to get people to refer them. So I'm also subscribed to Marketing Brew, which is very popular email. You probably, I feel like you don't sign up for that many email newsletters.
I don't. No, I'm not the best example of like somebody who reads a lot of emails.
Portion of it. But anyways, they have a really crazy referral program too. And the brew is like what they call it. And so you can get like brew swag and whatever. It's like, it's a brand in and of itself that you can actually build and grow that people have done.
I was gonna say that like naming your newsletter, giving your newsletter a little graphic, being playful with that is us. It's basically a brand within your brand. It's a sub-brand of your brand. And that's what's fun about it. It's kind of like this little baby within your business, and it has its own little spotlight, and you can give it its own kind of like theme or direction or flair to itself, but it still fits with under your main brand. So it's really fun to be playful with it like that.
So if you need to light a fire under your butt, then let's start here. Start with the name.
Yeah. And if you come up with stuff and want to throw it past us, we're all about being like, heck yeah, that sounds amazing. Do it. And just encourage you to do stuff like that with your newsletter. The second thing, so the person who actually emailed us about this was very curious about our header in our newsletter because it's got some animation and movement to it. So that's something we've seen in the past with other people. It's something that I always thought was kind of catchy and unique within the newsletter space because, you know, sometimes they can be just something flat that you're looking at and that you're reading at. So why not use some motion or animation where you can? And I'll tell you, when we're logged into our Flow desk and we can see all of the emails up, it does get a little psychotic because everything is moving and you're previewing that page and you're like, oh my gosh. But it's really exciting for the viewer when they open up our emails to just see that fun animation up top. So I believe ours right now, what does it say? Tuesday, or no, it doesn't even say Tuesday. It just says Tips and Sips. So they all kind of come in at their own phase, and then it bounces to our logo, and then it just repeats. So all I did was make a GIF in Photoshop. I have not made a newsletter. No, that is a lie. I have actually made a GIF for a client, I believe, in Canva of a GIF space for the top of their newsletter. So I was telling Abby earlier that I hadn't made one in Canva, but that's a lie. So you can make these GIFs in Canva. If you know Photoshop and want to make it in Photoshop, you can too. I would have to do a whole tutorial, kind of just like a video tutorial on how to do that. But essentially, if I were to just explain it really quickly, every animation piece like needs its own canvas essentially. So tips would need one, and then tips and would need one, and then tips and sips would need one, and then our logo would need one. And then you save that out as a GIF, and it should animate and flip through those things. And then you would just place that in whatever newsletter platform you're working in. We work in Flowdesk. Just place that in your template, put it up top, double check it, make sure it looks good on mobile and desktop. But it's a really fun way to incorporate the name, bring some movement, and really show off your brand right away when somebody opens up your newsletter.
Yeah, and Flowdesk likely shows you like what the size breakout is of that little header space, and then you can choose, I think, in Canva too, the animation time.
Yeah, the speed of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's definitely I'm sure you can do it on a lot more platforms too. We use Flowdesk, so it's really easy to incorporate that. And on that note, a newsletter that actually looks and feels like your brand is a game changer. Mm-hmm. It's something that helps make your brand more recognizable, memorable. A lot of times for us, it is the first interaction anyone is getting with our brand.
Yes.
The very first. They might be getting a freebie. They might be getting some content that they found on the internet through a blog and then signing up for the email list. So it's the first kind of personal interaction that you're getting. I think showing up in someone's inbox is one of the most personal things you can do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They allowed you into their safe space.
And I think a lot of people really protect their inboxes, or attempt to protect it, or are very specific about what they want in their inboxes, because we've all been there. We've all signed up for something, or we've all done whatever. And then you just continue to get emails and you're like, I don't want this anymore. But if they specifically seek you out and want your content weekly, bi-weekly, whatever that is, it's a sacred space for them. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they want you showing up there, you want to be doing it strategically. You want to show up as you and as your brand. So adding things like colors, fonts, icons, patterns, brand photography. I believe we have all of those in ours. We have a little wave breaker that's part of our pattern in a section. And I would say too, when you're thinking about that newsletter layout, playing with those sections. So making sure that you do have a lot of text for the content that you're going to be talking about, but incorporating images, incorporating some fun submarks or icons or whatever it might be, having floods of color that kind of break sections up. So kind of think about it as a tiny mini homepage for your brand. You want to clearly signify when they're reading the bulk of the content. But then if you have a section that calls out your blog, maybe change the background color and have an image and then the title of your blog. If you have a section that talks about a podcast, do the same, or a freebie. We have a section on ours that talks about what Abby's working on that week and what I'm working on that week. So they clearly can see that they're getting into that section of the newsletter. So you really start to kind of figure out the anatomy again of that newsletter by the chunks that we're breaking them out to, and by making sure that those chunks are very clear that it's a different piece of content that they're going to be consuming within that section.
Yeah. Almost just broken. Ours are, I would say, broken by color. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Flowdesk is one of the big reasons why we really love that. And we do have a discount code if that's something you guys need. We'll put that in the show notes. And then one other thing not to forget is dark mode. My husband loves dark mode.
Thank God for that, though, because when I was designing ours out, I am always in light mode, always.
Yeah.
And when Abby, I think I sent her the draft or something and had her peek at it on her phone, or maybe you peeked at it and you're like, looks good. And then I think she's like, Glenn, can you just look at it to make sure it looks good? And he opened it up and he's always in dark mode. And he's like, oh, and clearly things needed to be changed for dark mode. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. We need to rethink this.
It's definitely not as pretty in dark mode, but it needs to be legible still.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of people in dark mode know that things are going to look different, but our brand isn't dark. So I also think if your brand is a dark brand, you're probably going to do great there.
Right, exactly.
So that is something not to forget about, though, is in dark mode, your social icons might completely disappear. And what if you want to have that linked at the bottom? So really test it out in both options: desktop, mobile, dark mode, light mode, all the things, because your email is going to look different in all the different places.
Right. Legibility, buttons, making sure the buttons are easy to press, clickable, all of that stuff.
Yeah, legible. Like you can actually read it.
Yeah.
So, and then the next thing too is all about spaces. So this is something we talk a lot about in like blog content, like short paragraphs, short sentences, like just making sure that things are broken out in a way that makes it easy to skim.
Yes.
Same goes for your email. People like to skim. We want them, if they want to read the story, great. But don't make it feel like I have to do a lot of work to read the story. I want to read the story in like these bite-sized sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be a lot easier for people to read and engage with your newsletter if it's broken into these like bite-sized chunks rather than massive paragraphs.
Exactly. And then when it gets to like the content or the meat of your email, let's say you do have certain sections or certain tips you're giving, highlight or like make those sections like little titles, make them bold or a different color or make them a little bit bigger. And then if you have a little content under that, great. But then if you're like bulleting things out too, like add those bullets in that newsletter too. Like if it's something like that where you're giving away tips or whatever, and they don't necessarily need to be long paragraph formats, you can do stuff like numbers or bullets within that content too, because again, that helps to make it skimmable.
Yeah, for sure. And then the next one, this is really important because even I find myself doing this a lot. I will say something in the plural form, or I'll talk to our audience like I'm talking to multiple people. And it's really important for you to make your reader feel like they are the only one you're talking to.
Do you know what I do? I always do it for one person.
Do you imagine me?
I do. No, I do. I literally do. Anytime
it.
I'm doing an email, because you can like put like you can personalize it to people, put people's first name or whatever they sign up with their name for. You should absolutely, yeah. And if they don't put a name, you can put like friend or whatever. But I always, when I read it, I always say your name. I'm always like, okay, Abby. And then like whenever I drop in the name to personalize it, I always say Abby. So it just helps me to keep it in that singular person.
You know what I do? I say Abby too.
Wow.
I'm reading it.
What are we?
To myself.
We are clearly not a duo over here.
Now I feel so sad.
We're an Uno, apparently.
That's so funny. It's like I'm saying it for myself. That's embarrassing. I need to do that too, Court, next time. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel so honored.
Next tips and sips you have, you're going to be like, okay, actually, Court, this is for you, Court.
I know. I'm going to accidentally write Court where I mean to write first name.
Right. Exactly.
But that is a trick that kind of is hard to pick up on. Like, you need to be talking to one person, not many, even though you know many people are going to read it. So try to shift that in your brain like you are telling one specific person that story or that tip or training them, and it changes the whole dynamic of the email.
It does. And it like makes them feel like you actually are directly talking to them, and because you know you're in a sacred place within their inbox and coming in weekly and talking to them, just them like reading their own name and like feeling like we're truly speaking to them through our computers is so important, because it really helps personalize it, and it makes your brand more authentic and more real.
Yeah, it creates a better connection for sure.
The next one is, we've kind of already touched on this, but just bringing in gifs and images. So again, it's a playful little thing. It's a nice little visual break for the eye, because sometimes, again, people don't want to read blocks of text. They want to also have some entertainment for their eye. So a little bit of movement or brand images are so encouraged to just bring some colorfulness and some playfulness to the newsletter. And honestly, some of those sections that we have in our newsletter right now, like what Abby's working on and what I'm working on, it's a nice break for the eyes, and it's a pretty visual, but I don't know how many of our audience.
That's
like,
actually some
readers.
of the people's favorite things is when we did a little poll.
We did do a poll.
We were like, what sections do you like the most? And people love to see what we're working on.
Yeah. Which again is like a good thing to consider, is like talking about you and what you're doing that week, or just like getting really personal with something in your brand. You don't have to like share things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable, but just like giving them a peek at your day-to-day or behind the scenes, because I think people really love that, and it shows that you're truly a human within this business.
Yeah. What do you have think about it this way, like what do you have in common with your audience, and how can you like bring that conversation outside of just work? So say you love to read and you know that your audience also loves to read. Maybe each week you share what you're reading, or maybe if like you're a foodie and there's like or it's like local restaurants, or like maybe you have local audiences. Maybe you can pull in like my favorite local place to go do X, Y, and Z. Like there can be fun little things that you can connect with your audience on that people will really like to see outside of just the education.
One of the bits that we have in ours is just a tiny little snippet for a drink recipe for the week, and we're not creating these recipes. If I'm being completely honest, we're not making all of these either. I mean, we should make a lot of them.
They're saved in a folder in Instagram, so whenever we need a new recipe, that is where we go.
Yeah, but like that might be some like tiny little section where a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to, but we're gonna keep it, and we're probably never gonna get rid of it because A, it's a sip and it relates back to the Tuesday tips and sips. B, we always talk about how our brand was born over coffee and mimosas. Like that's just what we did when our brand was being developed and thought up. So it's really a personal part of our brand, and it is truly a piece of our brand. And it takes up such a minimal amount of space within the newsletter, and it's just a fun way to like bring something fun and different into the newsletter too.
And you really get the idea of our love for pickles.
Yeah, because a lot of the recipe are pickle cocktails, which a lot of you are probably
marks.
Like, gross.
Pickles. Yum. There's some good pickle drinks in there, my friends.
Yes.
So, and then also like with the gifts too, doesn't need to be always on brand. Like have some fun. Throw in some like we love to throw in like Schitt's Creek gifts and like Office, and
our team in general loves a good gift.
Yes.
Like, so go to Giphy.com or wherever you get your gifts and bring them in, because again, it brings in movement. It's really funny. You can find gifts that like totally relate to your theme. It's going to give people a good laugh, and it's fun.
You want to know the funny I just learned this thing today kind of thing? Courtney showed me. You can literally just grab the GIF from Giphy and drag it to your desktop and then drag it where you want it to go.
I was watching her. I don't even know what.
I'm trying to like right click and save it. I thought that's like how you had to do it.
What are we, 90? I was like, girl, just drag it to your desktop. And she's like, wait, what?
I hope someone else listening to this right now is like, what? You can do that? Because then I will not be alone. So please tell me if that is you. Please. I literally right click all the time, download, and then it just takes forever.
I think I was just like, Abby, that is taking so long to download. What are you doing? I'm like, just drag it to your desktop. And she's like, that works? Yes.
Mind blowing. It's like changed my life because we use GIFs all the time, and it is a game changer. The next one's be consistent. So this is where that little hack on the name, adding that date to the name comes in handy. Mm-hmm. It helps you be consistent. And again, and you know what, I don't wish we could be those people who are like, we've sent 252 emails straight weeks, like whatever.
Kudos to you who have done it, and like, man,
I'm okay with that not being the case. Like, yeah, that's okay. We have had weeks where we are literally hanging on by threads, or we've had weeks where it's not that we're like drowning and dying. It's just that we wanted to like take a break or be with our family or like do something else, and it's not that we're inconsistent. It's that it's this rare week in the midst of everything going on.
Yeah. I think we have both exchanged texts at like 10 p.m. on a Monday night. It's literally the words like, shit, tips and sips. We're like, well, it's going to be tomorrow.
Whips and sips. Those are our conversations.
Right.
And it's okay. Like, being consistent is important, especially as you start growing your newsletter. I would say it's more important in the beginning than anything else. You need to start generating that loyal audience. People need to start getting to know you. Once you've built that, there are going to be times where you need to take a break, or you need to just hit pause, or you need to take a week off, and that's okay. Like, do what works for you. This is your audience. You built it. So the biggest thing about being consistent is just to continue to create that loyal audience and make sure that they know that, like, you also care, you know?
Right.
Like, don't ghost your friends forever. If someone's asking to go out to dinner and you say no 15 times in a row, then yeah, they're probably not going to want to be friends with you anymore.
Right.
But if you miss one time, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And then the last one is making it a must open email. So yes, we're talking about the subject line here. And I would say subject lines can sometimes be tricky. I would say Abby's probably better at subject lines than I am. I don't know if I just get too lengthy.
Because I'm on too many newsletter.
Yeah, probably. You get all these good ones. But a good subject line really is one that makes somebody want to open them. I think Abby's this week, as we're recording it right now, she was asking me the other day about a topic, and I was like, well, you're going to Valley Fair. You should like tie it to Action Park, because if you haven't watched that documentary, holy shit, you need to. And then what was your subject line? Something about teeth in the slide?
Teeth shouldn't be at the top of water slides.
Yeah. And like, if you see a subject line that, first of all, you're going to be like, WTF. Second of all, you're going to be like, I need to know more.
What are you
So
talking
it's
about?
like that really strong, like, craving to learn more about what's inside this email and what we're talking about. So like, that would be a must open.
I think my other good one was like the don't step on iguana poop.
Yes, that was such a good one too. And like, that was just tying back to her personal life. So it's just like fun stuff like that too that can be such a strong subject line. It doesn't need to be super
No.
like rigid.
Educational.
It doesn't have to be like open for
Open me for blah blah blah.
this content. Yeah. It should be exciting. It should catch their attention and make them want to learn more and like pique their interest. Like, what?
So talking back to like, I love what Court said about the anatomy of an email. I kind of feel like we need to make a picture of the anatomy of an email.
I'm all
I
about
think that would
that.
be, we can put that in our blog, in our show notes.
Yeah, for sure.
So like the top of the email is always a story. It's like a storytelling opportunity that then ties to the education. So we always start with a story, then we start with our podcast for the week, a new blog if we have one, or some new freebie or some new offering or something else we want to call out. Then it goes into the education piece. Then it is the about duo. So what are we doing that week? Our sip, and a little closer. So that's like the anatomy of our email, I'd say. And typically the subject lines tie to the story.
Yes.
And the story is what's normally going to pique people's interest. So that's like, I would say most people find that the most challenging part of email. And so half the time, like I have stories. I have stories upon stories in my brain. The issue is, how do I tie that then back to the education portion of it? And so that's where you can kind of have fun with like, okay, I'm going to leverage ChatGPT, which I did kind of leverage chat to help with like okay, how can Valley Fair tie to SEO?
And you said it didn't give you great ideas.
It didn't. It was awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't use it at all. But it did like kind of get it started for me. Or I think actually what it did is I read it and then I was like, no, I should go this direction. And so it helped me think of a different direction.
Right, yeah. So sometimes it's just a brainstorm buddy. It doesn't have to like give you the whole newsletter point by point.
It won't. It won't barely ever give you the whole newsletter point by point. It truly is a brainstorm buddy.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, that is, I would say, like from a subject line perspective, our subject lines tend to be the best when they tie to the story rather than just, here's what's new in SEO this week. Yeah. Although I bet you a lot of people would open that. It's just not as fun.
But I think our audience craves our stories. Like, I think they like our stories. And it's just so funny. There was one time Abby was picking the boys up from school, and I think she texted me something or whatever. And I was like, well, that's your next newsletter topic. And she's like, oh, good idea. You know, it's just like random things that happen in your life can definitely tie back to your business, and you can make content out of it. It's crazy.
Yep. So that's all like up to you on how you want to engage in your audience. But it's usually that's what people crave. They crave that human interaction behind the business and not just the education.
Exactly.
So pro tip 2 before we let you go is that you should quiz your audience.
We did this recently.
We did. And I think we did it right before our annual planning meeting, and we'll likely do it again before our next annual planning meeting. But it was really good to hear from our existing audience of so like going back to the anatomy of the email, what sections did they like the most?
Yeah.
Did they like the stories? Did they like the tips? Did they like what we're doing? Did they like the resources we shared? And then they kind of like, I think it was checkboxes or something like that. But we just did a Google Forms. So it wasn't anything fancy, free platform. We did a Google Forms, sent it out to audience, and I think we did a winner of something.
We had some sort of an incentive for people.
Like get a Starbucks gift card, or we'll send you a sweatshirt,
or you have a chance to win something or whatever.
Just because we wanted answers. We wanted a good number of people to respond. So we sent it out in our newsletter, to get feedback from our subscribers. And if you don't have a newsletter yet and you're just getting started and you just want to know what the heck kind of content do people want to hear from me, send it out to wherever your existing humans are. Like, is it Instagram? Is it, I don't know, a community place? Like, are you a part of a community or Chamber of Commerce, or like, where is it that you could maybe reach out to and source some inspiration to get you started?
Yeah. And then before we really let you go, we want to talk about the branding bar really quick. If you've been in our ecosystem for a while, we've talked about this a little bit, but we have just recently launched the branding bar, which we'll put the link in here too, but it is for clients that we've worked with, or SEO clients that we've worked with as well, not just branding, to work with us on some collateral to help build cohesive and strong things like newsletters, social templates, all of that. But one of the things that we have in there is the Inbox Spritz, is what we call it, the cute little name. See, we're naming things over here because it's part of the brand. And it has a handful of things within that package where we can help you do exactly what we talked about today.
We say it is everything you need to grow your email list. So one newsletter template, an email sequence for when people first join your email list, a freebie template so that people have reason to join your email list, and incorporating that in your website. However, if that's going to be a website pop-up, opt-in form, whatever that may be. So truly everything you need.
Truly everything we've done on how we've built our own newsletter. And you better bet that we're going to try to name it for you and like come up with some really cute. We will name it for you.
That is the best part.
Yes.
So yes, if you need that, the branding bar is now open. If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review, and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.